Okay, so um, this I started applying the techniques you came up with for reasoning and sort of copied a lot of what you'd um, been doing. And I
Uh,
suspect that what this tool actually means for us is a significant amount of the things that you copied and pasted around to do. It's a great prototyping place where we can test some of the stuff we want to put into Artifact. And it also shows us the large shortcomings of the current state of the art.
hmm
Cursor is pretty much the forefront of things, and I'm starting to see, whilst it is incredibly powerful and a step up from anything we've had before, it still has some significant gaps that I believe will never be filled compared to what we wanted to do with Artifact.
Yeah. Okay.
I've made a small note of those. I'll just
Well,
read
it's
them
good to
out.
know that we're not wiped out yet.
We ain't even close to wiped out. We are encouraged, I would say. So I'll tell you what I think of the shortcomings of Cursor, so
hmm
that while we're talking through Cursor, um, this will help you contrast, I think. So one of the biggest lacking things is you can't make agents in Cursor. And so you can come up with a task that you want to do a lot, like extract all the definitions from this transcribing. You can't make that an agent and then call it again repeatedly,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah. So there's no right.
There's no coherence between the agents. An agent is not a unit in this world. In our world, it's everything, but in
Yeah.
their world, it's not.
Hmm.
Um, you can't get replay of what the bots were doing, and I think that that starts to point to their commercialization model, which relies on them keeping like prompts secret and processes secret, and
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of secrecy going on where they're depending on that to keep them ahead and keep you coming back. And I
Mm.
think that that's a dangerous game in the AI world. That was a good game in the last 20 years, but
Yeah.
with the pace of things, that's a bad game.
Yeah.
Calling tools. So they might be able to fix that. So you can't get the bots to actually call custom tools that you made. They could fix it, but the interface is really clunky. Like
Yeah.
it's clunky now. Let alone trying to add all these complicated things in there.
Yeah.
Um, Debugging of what the bots did. So if you were to make a swarm of bots that did a thing, having debugging, we talk about it like it's just obvious that you need it, but having debugging is actually a big deal because
Yeah.
how
That's
to
an
work it
interesting
in.
point. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's all about Okay. So code completion. Yeah. That's fine. It's like it's all one way from human to bot, and the bot will just do the obvious boring stuff. Um, and will not give you, what we're looking for in the debugging is maybe I've just told you something that was stupid. Can you tell me if it's stupid?
Right, yeah. And so that's the concept of having multiple bots that run in the background that sort of trigger on workflow events. Like if I save a file because another bot has edited it, I would want the linter bot to come in and make sure that all the formats fitted what was agreed to, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah,
Um, there's no ability to loop over the files. So, like a for loop is not present, and it from the feel of the interface,
yeah,
it seems hard for them to work that in, given the nature. Like I think that they're gonna end up with a huge UI bill of like trying to figure out how to slap all these things in there, and it's
yeah.
just not gonna. I just don't think it's gonna work. Um, yeah. They
Is there
also, sorry,
sorry,
you
yeah.
go.
So as a fresh mind coming at this, it is difficult to work with, find stuff, and so on. And if it's really AI native, it should be dead easy. I should be able to talk to a Meta HAL type and saying, right, okay, so I want to do this, and they go, ah, right, okay,
Yeah, right. And so it doesn't really have any of that, and I think it's because the lack of agents. You can't. It's also very much about. It treats the bots as transient, so you could do all this work to then get this finished set of files out, and then as soon as there's like a model upgrade, like GPT-5, you can't rerun the the things you did to get to the finished state again. Like how you got there is gone. Whereas the strategy we're talking about is pretty deep, because we're saying that the strategy is extract from all the conversations this gold standard of definitions, use the definitions to reconcile and generate renderings, correct the renderings which update the gold standard, so that if you had GPT-5, you could run the loop again and you'd
right.
get presumably a better result. But
And then you can check the renderings and see
yeah,
if the new model is
yeah,
actually screwed you up
yeah.
or not.
So we're
Yeah.
actually pushing a different way of coding. We're pushing like a docs first, or a definitions first, a requirements first,
Yeah.
reasoned out, logically consistent, and connected to the real world, rationalized. We're talking about that first, and then the code is almost non-event.
Yeah.
It's just
I think that approach is still way too human heavy.
yeah, and it's still, they came in like, they didn't hit the top of the mountain. They came in halfway up the mountain, which means
Yeah.
that whilst it's still better than being at the bottom of the mountain, it's still a lot of legwork to go around the mountain. Whereas up the
Right.
top, you can pivot freely and then drop down anytime you want, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have anything even close to Stux in band, and I actually think that that'll be a massive feature to land. The ability to be chatting away, and then it's like, oh, that seems a problem. You can have a problem with our platform, with your work, with anything, whereas they have no ambition at all of social coding, it seems.
And well, I guess you could probably hack it together with issues, maybe GitHub issues. But
Maybe.
issues are not really stuck though, because
No,
it doesn't have the
no,
context
it's
of
not deeply
the
integrated.
requirement.
Like, you can't use the platform itself, the Cursor platform, to build the Cursor platform and to collaborate with others. There's nothing new going on there. They're just sort of, they're sitting there in the middle of it all. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It just seems quite hard for them to go from where they're at to what we're aiming for.
I
And
think they're I think they're going down. Well, there's various routes that you could go down from where everyone is, and they are leaning heavily on let's help to support the traditional way of doing things.
yeah, that's right. And so I think actually what I've been doing today, which is using it to reason through a bunch of Markdown docs, is probably not that common in the way that it's used or intended to be used, but it does work pretty good. So yeah, but the main thing seemed to be the monetization aspect. So I really think we're onto a winner with this ability to let people combine different agents and sell different agents and trade different agents. Because, they're trying to monetize by, we'll run the AI and charge you money. And then we're saying, well, anyone can run the AI, so you're not beholden to us. But we also sort of launch with a marketplace. So we actually have a lot of features that I think, because we've spoken about it so long and so in depth, I guess the brilliance or the sparkle of them has been dulled. But when you compare them to where Cursor entered the market and they raised like 68 million bucks, including from OpenAI, and then I think about the features that we have coming, and you know, to take a sense check, I really don't think our features are that far off. Like they're still not so wild that they're never going to come. I mean, they're going to be here.
Well, no, not at all. I mean, even with what we've got at the moment, with
It's
a
kind
lot
of,
of cut and
yeah,
pasting,
yeah, I know. It's
it
kind of sort of
works.
there. Yeah, I know, right? And so when I think about those features that we consider minimum to launch with, it should be quite dazzling. Like in comparison to, say, Cursor, it's like it's this whole other thing.
Yeah, I think. Well, I agree. Very much so. The I think the reason that okay, so yesterday is like there's a new tool. Okay, I hate learning new tools. I don't
Me
want to
too.
learn a new tool.
Me too.
It's like okay, it has certain things you click and you got to find little widgets for, and this is meant to be all about AI and so on. And I download it. It brings in dream catching, which is not code; it's all MD.
Yeah.
Every file in there is MD,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to recreate what I was doing with different tabs and cut and paste,
Right.
and it just ain't doing it. And it's
Okay. Well, let's go into. How about I'll show you what I've been doing,
yeah.
and then we can talk about what you've been trying to do and see how they match up.
Yeah, with the proviso of that, I'm a noob with Cursor, so it might
Yeah, that's cool, dude. I'm a
yeah,
noob as well. But the one massive win that they did have is that it's just VS Code, and so everything kind of just, if you know VS Code quite well, then it's all
well that's
very familiar.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
But that's definitely not the path we should go down. That's
no,
what I
no.
found from.
That's why they're halfway up the mountain, is because
Yeah.
it's just VS Code. It's like VS Code was built for a traditional system, and they're just adding on AI into that.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, and plus they got some gnarly competition by way of Copilot, where
yeah,
Microsoft owns GitHub, owns npm, owns VS Code, and has Copilot, and all that Cursor's done has made this way baller version of Copilot. But it's like,
it's still Copilot though.
as soon as Microsoft comes to the party, they're either going to buy you, which is great for you, or they're just going to wipe you out, which is not great for you. So, none of those things are like.
Well, I was looking at the onboarding tick list, and it's like accept an autocomplete. And it's like, how are you going to autocomplete when we're doing something like definitions?
Pretty well, actually. I managed to clear that whole checklist. Like, I want to give some mad respect to the Cursor guys. Like, they have made a very useful tool. I think it's just helped me see that what we're aiming for is way higher than what they're aiming for.
Whether it's higher or lower, I don't know, but it is a different paradigm completely.
Different paradigm. Yeah, different paradigm. And so for the paradigm that they have shot for, I think they've done really well, and they currently lead the field by a long way. And I wanted to show you the beneficial parts of what they've delivered that can be put to work for us, I think. Everything I'm about to show you was taken from a copy paste of the transcript of the last 2 YouTube calls, and that's it.
Yeah. Cool.
So the
so this is a render of those. So that's the transcripts can also be counted as definitions. So that's the thing. And then you render it to see if what it says. That's like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah. So it inducted 2 transcripts. This one from the 14th, and this one from the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the rest was done using prompting with the tools that were given us by Cursor,
Okay.
and that's it.
All right.
I
Let's
think
see
I
what we've
burned
got.
a lot of money, but anyway, this is what we got. So the process I came up with is a copy of your process. We take the input sources, we
Yeah.
run it through an extraction process for three different reasons. Number one is extracting definitions for that particular input source.
Yeah.
Number two is identifying user stories or narratives from that input source. And number three is extracting tasks, things that needed
Oh,
to be done.
yes. That's interesting. I hadn't been thinking about extracting tasks. I was thinking about, or do they mean by task narratives?
No, tasks like, I'm going to do this, you need to do that, we've got to do this.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Okay.
I
Oh,
did
yeah. Yeah.
that,
Okay. Yeah. 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 That
right?
makes sense.
And I did that by splitting it. So I've got the transcript here. So for the 14th, the transcript was there. The definitions that were extracted are here. The tasks that were extracted are here. And the narratives that were extracted are here.
Oh, right. And all this is just using the transcripts from the calls.
Yep. Yep. Including this README, because I just chatted to it using voice to give me this README. You know, like it was, I didn't type any of this. I just chatted
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's the
to it about it, which was actually quite liberating.
gold
And
standard.
then,
Yeah.
and then I made a step where I apply corrections, where corrections were things that I commonly had to replace. So this is the corrections file. It often, the transcript would say nap, but actually it was supposed to be nap.
Yeah. Sometimes it's nep as well.
Yeah. So it's all sort of that sort of thing. Spelling of the Dreamcatcher. The corrections are.
Did you bring in the official definitions, or not official ones, the ecosystem definitions?
Nothing. I brought in nothing. I just brought in these transcripts. And so what I'm trying to get to here is a process by which you and I can work together and can keep putting in versions or incremental improvements on what I call the gold standard. So for the first transcript, where there's no gold definitions, so the first transcript becomes the gold definitions. But then what I did was I hand read the definitions and sort of checked that each one of them kind of made sense to me, and just sort of told the bot to change things that needed changing and whatever, and then that became the gold definition.
Right.
And then what I did.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, I've got lots of ideas.
No.
Here. Go ahead. Another thing you could do there as well is say we were talking about this concept. Take some of the namespace clashes we've got, like Dreamcatcher, whether it's an ecosystem.
Yeah. So that's part of the reconciliation process. Is a fairly manual one, and it's where like I chat with it. Blah.
That's where the base rock definitions come in. It's like that's what we agreed on the definitions. Now, if we use terminology incorrectly, maybe definitions need updated. Maybe we need to update.
Yeah, that's right. That's the point. So that's how things would work going forwards. I was starting from blank to prove the process. So that's why
it's pretty nice. I like it.
And then so what happens was, the idea was that the second transcript, I ran the same process again, extract definitions, but now I've got a gold definition file, and so that's when I ask it to reconcile.
Right. So those two transcripts, it doesn't matter if we were talking about Lamb, Rog, and Josh. It would reconcile what Lamb was, what Rog and Josh is.
Yeah, it reconciles. And the point is that by having the gold, everything new, you bring in everything new one source file at a time, and then you reconcile it against gold each time. And so the rate of change becomes logarithmic because it's like
Yeah.
the first file huge, the next one there should be a lot of overlap. The theory is that because we assume that we are talking about sane definitions that repeat, but we are fuzzy about them, then
Yeah.
the number of definitions should show a log curve as the number of source files is increased.
But also, what that does is teach our meat brains to actually use the right terminology
Yeah,
in order
that's
to
right.
make.
That's right. And what I'm
Yeah.
hoping is we can get fancy tools going real soon so that while you and I are talking here, in fact, there's a streaming thing going on that's saying definitions like, hey, did you mean this? Did you mean that?
Yeah.
Maxwell, I think you meant this, or you've used this word wrong, all that kind of stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
that is scalable. That is extraordinarily scalable across many, many people that could be having similar conversations about a bunch of things, and it's a way of keeping coordination between a team without any yokes, handles, reins, controls, chains, anything like that. We all just go off and do whatever we're going to do. Our agents are correcting us only on the things that matter, and which leads me to the next point,
It's really powerful, actually.
which was whilst the definitions are being reconciled with the gold definitions, they produce conflicts. And conflicts are things that aren't settleable right now and maybe need a debate. And so it's got a file here called corrections. And sorry, not corrections. I didn't get to that yet, but there'll be a file that is conflicts. And in that file is where like you and I would be trying to reconcile something, and then we've got a bunch of conflicts that we're not sure how to resolve. And so that's something that you and I need to talk about more.
Well, there's the interesting one about I can't remember 3, 4 calls ago where you were talking about a protocol layer and I was talking about a legal layer,
Yeah,
and we were just passing each other in the night
yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, because one
having
of the biggest dangers is thinking you're talking about the same thing when you're actually not. And a lot of
yeah,
these concepts, they look similar, and you can actually make that mistake, but then turns out they're really not the same.
which
And
is basically every meeting I've ever been in, people talking past each other.
yeah,
It's
right. And
it's
so
it's, it's like trying to play tennis with a tennis partner, but you're on different courts. So
something, and you have to play it blindfolded, and it takes a while till you realize you're actually not playing anyone.
yeah,
Yeah, so the idea is that you do that with the definitions. You got gold definitions, you got gold stories, and you got gold tasks, and then you get this side effect or entropy, that the pollution that comes out is the conflicts that also get updated to update the gold conflicts file, and then the gold conflicts file are used to generate more input sources as
yeah,
you
but
as you
the
chat over
conflict detection is a really interesting one because all innovation is about conflict. It's
conflict
like
reconciliation.
yeah, it's like, oh, that's odd.
Yeah,
Now maybe it's odd because you're talking about a different thing. Maybe you're just being sloppy in your terminology, not yours, but our
yeah,
terminology. Or
yeah,
maybe there's actually something really interesting there.
yeah. Right now,
How did you generate that then?
generate what?
That diagram. What was the process that you used to generate it?
Oh, I just chatted with it about a mermaid doc, and then it sort of came up with different things because I got it to generate the README first, and then I read that and made sure it was all right, and then I was like, make me a mermaid diagram, and it made it, and then I thought about it and tried a few different things and all that, and then ultimately it popped this out. It was way
Nice.
faster than typing a diagram myself
Oh yeah, yeah.
by a
Yeah,
billion
absolutely.
times, actually, because it was
This
actually
is the
fun.
render, right? This is the render, and
Yeah, it's a
already
render.
we're thinking about, okay, what's the difference between conflict detection and stuck detection, as in misunderstandings versus a new problem.
Yeah, I think that well, I guess that indicates that stucks can be categorized because it's still a valid stuck if it's just simply a conflict of understanding.
Yeah,
And then, but when you find a stuck that's actually a genuine, no one's conflicted about it, and it's still a problem, that's
yeah.
that's gold. That's value, right?
Yeah. That is the gold seam.
While I was
Um,
doing this, I noticed that the autocomplete functions. It's sort of dawned on me that all the autocomplete functions in code, if you're getting a very high score where you're like, oh, it knew exactly what I wanted, oh, it knows what I'm doing, and it's auto completing your functions correctly a lot of the time, that's an indicator that you're doing something that's not of great value because
yes.
it's
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
understood by the bots, right?
Right. Right.
So it's
Right.
almost like, once it gets hard to use the bot, that's
That's
good.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why
Absolutely.
you need that seed of that input source, because the input source gives the bot something to grab a hold of and then apply its mechanical genius to squeezing everything out and then reconciling it in. But without that input source, it can't do jack, really.
Exactly, and there's almost value calculation here. For example, I'm agreeing with everything you said so far. There's information transfer into my brain that needs to be done. Um, if we're disagreeing, that is the useful thing.
Yeah.
So there are tiers of stocks. It's like, yeah, right, come on, guys,
Mm.
agree, because you're talking about the same thing, but you're talking in different ways.
Yeah, that's right. Like it forces us to reach agreement. And what I hope with this setup is like I'm very happy to work with you to make it suit your needs and your workflows as well. But it seems to me that we're in a position where we can actually have a main branch that has definitions that you and I have agreed on, and that the resolution of conflicts is simply just talking about it in in VR and going over it and then parsing the transcripts the next day to do the reconciliation process, which
Well,
is
yeah.
so much
I
easier.
mean, yeah. I mean, for example, asset there. We've stumbled over that in terms of what the definition of that, but if we use it in a different way,
Mm,
without even calling it an asset, then it should pop up saying you guys have got a conflict.
mm, yep.
This is
So
nice.
yeah, so
Yeah.
what I really wanted to talk about here was that when when the transcript when the definitions come in that were extracted from the transcript, they come in looking like this, and it's long, it's a lot of text, and the issue is that if the gold standard was done like this, then it would
Mm-hmm.
become very noisy when it comes time to do commits because the diffs would be hard for a human to read. And so the proposal I put to you is that so I was able to get the gold standard of definitions and then tell the
Mm-hmm.
bot I want to explode it out and I want to write one file for every definition here. Now, normally as a
Mm-hmm.
human, that would take a buttload of time and I'd probably quit and do something else, right? But
Yeah.
all of these files were auto generated by the bot to break them out and copy them over into individual files.
Okay. So this was a question I had yesterday about whether just put it into a heap or to break them out.
I
But
think
you're saying break
the
them out.
single file is better because what I can also do is I can run a tool over this that will generate a graph, like an actual picture that shows the dependencies of the definitions on each other, and quite importantly, will error when there's a circular definition
Mm-hmm.
because that means that like a circular definition is it means you haven't defined the thing. And so having that picture of how things relate will allow us to apply the filters you were talking about because when we want to section off just a piece and
Yeah.
then focus on that, we use the tree like structure to deal with it. And it also allows the bots to come in at one level rather than being loaded with everything. They just come in at a branch at a level and they dig if they need to rather
Yeah.
than,
And they disregard anything that you're not
yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
yeah, because the quality of the bot output is highly dependent on what you don't tell the bot. Getting the bot to decide amongst all these options is bad, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Be kind to your bots.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so what it's done here is it's linked everything together, and these links are actually like, um,
Oh, it's like
you know,
a AI wiki.
Yeah, it's an AI wiki, and it's it's live. So that's what's pretty good about all that. Um, Now, what did I have? What did I have? Then what I got it to do was I got it to read all those files and then produce a summary so that it can, because reading individual files sucks as a human, whereas I just want to skim it and see what changed, right? And so this is what the summary that it popped out of all those files, nicely summarized.
Can I propose something? Because I've had this problem for a while. Diffs are really useful, but it's one step away where you can prompt it and say, what are the implications of these diffs? It's not what's changed in text that you're really interested in. It's like, given what your base rock, what your head mark is, what you're trying to do, what are the implications? And it could be, for example, you've changed the way you're doing attribution, and therefore the legal framework has changed. So the implications is a render,
Right.
and I've been using that, and it's pretty good actually. It's like, if you do this, then this is going to be the impact of it, as opposed
Yep.
to just a diff.
Yep.
Because the diff is still a bunch of text, and the the holy grail is being able to create the Dreamcatcher just using conversations.
Yep. Another important button for you is this long context chat, because if you do long context, then you can do things like read every file in
I'm looking for that long context. I'm trying to relate your screen to my screen here, and it's kind of similar, but I don't know whether.
what are you missing?
Oh.
Because you also need to pick a big context model as well.
Yeah.
And why this is good is because if you use the small context model, what it will do is it will take pieces of the files and relative chunks. But if you use long context, it will put the entire file in the conversation.
Well, can I take over the screen? I'll show you what I was trying to do.
Sure.
Which is basically recreate what I was previously doing just with cut and paste.
Okay.
So there we go. Been doing this for a few days now. Generate UML v3 source displayable in Platinum for legal view.
It's because you've got see how it says usage based pricing. You got to go into your account and you got to enable usage based pricing if you want to use O1 preview. So if you click on that button there that says enable usage based pricing, yeah, and now click it, yeah, and now because you're on the free plan, you need to go on the paid plan so that you can use these advanced features.
Okay. That'd be why. Okay, so I'm going to
upgrade to Pro.
Yep.
Okay. And pay the money. I'll look away for you.
Link. Oh, why is it? Did I get a credit card? I can't remember. And I've got a number.
Tell me when I can look back at the screen.
96. Doesn't matter because it's a one use code.
It's your laissez-faire attitude to security.
Excuse me, I used to target nuclear weapons.
which
Right.
everyone
Look
knows.
away, please. Look away, please. Look away, please, because I
Yeah,
think it's gonna show me.
yeah. Now,
There's a
now you're concerned. Now you're
yeah,
concerned.
yeah. I don't want anyone bombing me because we've allowed the basilisk. I'm purchasing it as a business. No, not really. Okay, what's happening now? Hit subscribe, and nothing seems to be happening. It's because I don't have $20 on that. That's my Wise, which is empty.
Okay. Do we need this to carry on, or can we keep
Um,
going
uh,
through it?
uh,
I should be able to give you the long context
okay.
anyway, because it was also, I think, because you're in O1 preview, and O1 isn't a long context capable model.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's leave that for now then.
I
But
can wait if you want. I think that having me here with you, walk you through it, can save you a
it,
lot of time.
it would be helpful because
Okay.
that was a trivial fix to something that's
Okay.
actually
Well,
been
do you want to stop
bugging.
sharing? Yeah, do you want to stop sharing, and you can do the stuff with the credit card, and I'll just waffle on about something else mildly interesting
Yeah,
in the background.
yeah. Go for it. Yeah, yeah. Feel free to waffle.
Waffling
I need to
on.
move some money around into this virtual card.
Okay. Let me just check if going to preview kills the long context thing. Oh no. No, it doesn't. It must just be that you're not on the paid plan. Yeah. So here's where I asked it to look for
Oh,
conflicts.
sorry. Just so you're aware, I'm actually on my phone
I
doing
know.
money transfer, so
I know. These are
I'm
I'm
not
going.
looking, but I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm going
Um,
through the low grade things because my hope is that you'll listen to this recording later and you might find it useful.
yeah. Good
Um,
one. Good one.
Yeah, so duplicate definition file, so it's detected that there's identical content, but the name is just the same, which is fucking perfectly accurate. So I'll go. I've already fixed that while you were clowning around with your cards there. Some overlap in how platforms are described across files. Yep, fair enough. Overall, the definitions appear to have been carefully crafted to work together as a cohesive system of concepts. Yeah. Thanks.
It's be careful. It's I've noticed that what model you're on. If it's Claude, it tends to flatter you too much.
Oh, I'm used to it. I don't mind it. It's like it's better than what I would have done. So that's really what I'm sort of, you know. Now, what else did we have? I guess while you're busy there, I'll go through a cycle of reconciliation because I haven't done that for one of the definitions.
I've got it stacking up here. Just let me see if I can finish this task at least.
She got to go.
I don't know yet. I haven't read the text.
Oh.
It's okay. She never listens to these recordings anyway.
Yeah, one day when she has a bot to go through them on her behalf, and she's like that.
Yeah,
Cheeky
bugger.
cheeky bugger.
All this time you're saying this. All right. Okay. Why is that not working? I'm pushing for business. Pay without link. Lockers charge. What does pay without link do? God damn it. Alright. Okay. That's why.
So,
process made progress. Is now extracting money from me, which is good. And oh, I've got a very happy green tick.
great. Green tick.
Okay,
Win.
right. So now if I go back to, I assume,
You gotta enable that usage-based pricing thing.
right, accounts. I'm now a pro. Oh, there you go. Hey,
Hey,
that was easy, wasn't it? I become a professional, whatever it is.
professional cursor. I mean, I was
Yeah.
cussing since way back.
Yeah, it's so much better than. Well, I've just lost my amateur status. Okay, I'll try it again.
Like, this is one day's use, and I burned through over 20% of my monthly allowance.
This is gonna be a problem because
I also smacked $7.20 of O1 usage.
yeah, I mean that's what
That's what it's all about.
In Seattle is one big coffee, but the thing that really irritates got it really irritates me is when it says no, you can't do this because you're capped. Right, let me read these texts from Jude because
Yep.
it's always good to keep her on side.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is literally a leap of faith on her side. Okay.
I wish I could pause recordings, Like, that's kind of an issue with the, with the Horizon thing. Like, I can't pause the recording and then come back to it. It's super annoying.
Yeah, it is a bit annoying, isn't it? Okay. Question about tracking down number one son. Yeah, because all this just pollutes the stream in terms of what we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. All this progress we're making with AI, I still don't think it would actually be terribly useful in having to deal with a son who apparently turned up after his work.
We are recording, FYI. Do you want me to stop? Is the show over?
No. This is not a Parish Noises thing. I'm whinging.
Okay. You'd be surprised where AI can provide a solution. You really would.
Well, he turned up at 4 a.m. after his work because he's on night shifts. Went into his cabin. Turned up all the heating. Turned up the bed heater thing. Then got in fully dressed without taking his boots off, and now is apparently sweating like a Royal Marine in a maths test. Okay, so I've got, looks like I've got about 45 minutes before I need to do a 10-minute break.
Okay, sure. Let us make the most of it. Are you back online? You ready to go?
I am back online.
All right, so you want to share the screen again?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so what I was trying to do earlier is reconstruct what I was doing anyway with cut and paste. This is something that I've done a number of times, and it appears I've not cut and pasted that across, but it appears to have created the diagram that I asked for. So that is good. Now, is there? There's no
Where
way
do
to
you-
render this. Is
Yeah, there is. Yep. So, you will need to. Well, first of all, you need to put it into a file, right? So you got to select. Yeah. So, well, select the file that you want it to appear in. Do you want
Okay,
it to
so-
show?
This is just a render, so I want it in a new file.
Okay, so you got to make a new file, and then focus it.
Okay, so I'll call that. What did you call it? There's a bit of a delay there. Your legal .md. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to call it .text. Okay, all right, and then watch. You make that.
Just click on it. You need it to not be text. You need it to be markdown because it's it needs to.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
then,
and now click apply. And then
Right,
apply to current file.
oh,
There you go.
okay. Cool.
Click on
All right.
accept.
Nice. And now I would like to render that.
That's a VS Code problem. I'm trying to look at that for you now, but
Okay,
I'm not sure that that's possible. But that's why UML sucks, because there's not like good tooling for it.
Okay. Well, I could also do generate mermaid source displayable.
Yeah, Mermaid's very displayable, but yeah, whatever you got going on here, that's not very popular in the programming world.
Which part? I'm not very popular in the programming world.
The UML part. So like I can't find a visualizer for you. It seems not very common that people would use UML for their programming.
I think it's just because it's old.
It's also fucking complicated.
Yeah, but it is really self-consistent.
Yeah, but like, are you sure that what you're trying to do couldn't be met by a mermaid class diagram?
Well, let's find out. Why has it got reject accept?
Because see how it's green and red? Green is the addition and red is the bit that was removed. If you click accept, it'll write it, but if you click reject, it'll kick it out.
So I'm still talking about legal.md.
Yeah.
So
if you hit accept, then it will save.
Right. It'll go over.
There you go. The diff went away, and now you've got the actual thing.
No, that's still the UML.
What? What did you want it to be?
I thought it was going to copy over the class diagram here.
That's what it just did, didn't it?
I'm on legal, right? And it's still start UML. And this is class diagram.
Oh, where did you get that from?
I just said generate it.
Generate a memo says, oh, sorry, click apply. Scroll down to the bottom.
Is it just, no, it's not cutting it. It's, we'll do accept here.
That seems buggy. I would delete everything in there, or click the save button, or save the actual file. It's like Command S or whatever it is in Mac.
Well, this is
Yeah, so save the file, or delete all the text, and then try and do the apply again.
All right, okay.
Yeah, that seems to have bugged out.
What if I do this?
Copy. I think if you click copy there,
Okay. All right, copy and paste again.
the more things change,
Copy and paste.
the more things stay the same.
Dear.
Okay, and now you need to enclose it in the mermaid triple backticks. So at the top.
Oh yeah. No. Wrong one. Where is it?
No, that's not it either.
It's just. Oh yeah.
Boy, whoa, this is gonna
I
give
thought
me
it just tried to autocorrect me there.
It did.
I'm gonna give that a go.
That's still not it. Backticks. You need backticks. You've got.
That's what it's saying.
No. You. Okay, sure.
Okay, right. I get the point though. Right. And it still
just hit the backtick. Hit the backtick button.
Come get my glasses, because
It's in the top left.
Bloody keyboard. Bloody backticks, man.
Under the escape key, with the tilde in the top left, unless it's different in a UK keyboard, in which case I can't help you. I might be able to help you actually. Where the devil is the backtick on a UK keyboard layout? That's not a backtick.
I can't actually see because the screen's too small. I'm doing this blind.
Okay, it says on a UK keyboard, the character is located on the key. Oh no, it's directly below the escape in the top left.
No, it's not. That is directly below the escape. That is definitely not backtick.
Okay, so why don't just do that? Press spacebar. Yep. Now press tab. And now you've got your backticks. And now type mermaid.
Hey.
But without, I think you need it without a space at the end. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. And that one, see how it's tried to autocorrect you there? Like, you don't have the ticks. Do the normal wrong ticks. Oh, okay. All right, fine. Okay, and now you need to add yourself. If you click on the preview button, which is the one, in the top right hand corner of this editor pane, not the full window, not the full. Yep, down. It's left 2 icons. That one. Oh, no. Right again. Yep. Open preview. That's the one. Yep. Okay. Now you don't have a Mermaid viewer installed, so you need to go to the extensions thingy, which is no, get out of there. Why did you go there?
Because that's where extensions usually is.
No, they're not. See where it says dream catching. See where the broken welcome thing is.
Yeah.
In the top left. Yeah. So hit the cross on the welcome bar to get rid of that crap. Yeah. And now, yeah, and there you go. Okay. All right. We're back. Markdown preview. Yeah, the 2.1 million people. They ain't wrong.
Well, yeah. They can be wrong.
They're not.
They totally can be. But
In
with
this
the
case,
information available,
it's
it's
most likely you that is wrong, sir.
is it right?
It's most likely that they're more right than you are. So, and now you should see the thing.
Right. Can I get rid of this? Where's the kill?
Holy shit. Can we get rid of the panel down the bottom because it's serving no point? It's just cramping up. Yeah, okay. And then
Close all, close saved. What?
close all. Yeah, close all, and then reopen the preview again. Yep. There you go.
Right.
Wah.
Right. Okay. So that is very small on the screen, but very helpful.
Very small but very helpful. Well, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, please stop. Just grab the tab that says preview. Grab the preview tab and drag it over to the left-hand group of tabs. Drag it. Just
to where? Left
down. No, where the source file. Yep, right there. Drop it. Oh, how did you? You gotta get it in the tab group that's on the left. Like, no, left. Right. Sorry, right. I meant right. Yep, right there. There.
Okay.
Ooh. Now, I don't know how you got that thing up above, but see how there's like a row of tabs up above that just shouldn't be there? See the triple ellipsis at the end of that row of tabs? Click that and go close all, because that's
because it's pulled it in from old VS.
Well, you can tell yourself whatever you need, but that is the worst layout I've ever seen anyone turn up with.
Hey man, as I said, I'm a noob. Okay, all right. So anyway, the point being, I can render. I like UML because it's complete, correct, coherent, and also has an it nests more nicely than Mermaid does.
Yeah, but you know what, buddy? Nesting is wrong. Nesting in itself is wrong, and I know you like a good nest.
If you got types, though, the thing is, a user is,
anyway,
a type of user. Anyway,
well, look, clearly the rest of the world doesn't agree with you, because otherwise there'd be UML viewing tools in this here editor, and there isn't. Now.
Okay, right. By the way, the rest of the world may be wrong, but on probability is probably right.
On probability, right? I'd say it's overwhelmingly sure.
Anyway, right. The point being here is that this is the logjam that I got yesterday in using this, because what I wanted to do is to recreate what I was doing with the cut and paste.
Which is what?
Well, this is an example of it. Generate a mermaid source display.
What's the problem?
I can get it to do this.
What's the problem? Did we just? Oh, sorry. So we just solved the problem. Okay, we solved the problem. Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's beneficial.
So I can crack on with this, because now with the apply and so on, and now I got rid of that welcome thing. I'm assuming that.
Okay, so the next major skill that you need to pick up is the ability to control the edits across multiple files. Can you think of a particular edit that you would like to do that will affect 2 or more files, even if it's just a play thing? I just want to make sure that you understand the skill.
It would need to be a play thing, because the whole
and then
point
just discard
is a single file.
What? The whole point is a single file. Okay.
Well, yeah. The at the moment. So if we go back to this one, I suppose what we could do is take this part out, which is to do with the ecosystem, and split out the view levels.
All right, so why don't we just try and do that? So we'll do the task of splitting out the view levels into individual files as just a test of multi-file editing. Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you hit Control or Command L to start a new chat.
Mm.
Can you bring the width of the chat window to be about halfway so that we can sort of see what we're doing here? Yeah, about that. Yeah, good. Okay. Now, say
Well,
get
actually,
out
what
get out of get out
use?
of preview.
What?
O1 preview.
Oh, I see.
And I think you'll get the best result if you change that back to Sonnet. You can play around with these other ones later, but definitely it works if you use Sonnet.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then say, so what's happened is because the current file is there, it's pulled that into context. And now you'd say what you wanted to do to the views.
So the current file is this one because I've highlighted that. That's what I'm talking about,
It's
right?
it's what you're looking at on the screen, what the focus of
So,
the editor is. Yep.
say if would I be able to do, for example, split out the overview, which is
Yeah.
in Markdown hashed out,
Yeah.
and then we go further down, 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 down. This is all the overview, and then the second is the definitions. So if I say split out the Dreamcatcher ecosystem overview from definitions and write them to separate files, for example, would that work?
Yep. How many files would you expect that to produce?
2.
2 new files?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
All right. Can I speak to this? Yeah, chat.
No, you can't.
Yeah, okay.
But you can get like the Mac voice recognition thing that's meant to be pretty good. But otherwise, you're stuck with typing. What I've been doing is using VS Code text to speech, which annoyingly only works in a file. Speaking to it in a file, copying or cutting it out of the file and pasting it into the box. It is archaic. I looked for a better solution. There isn't one.
Okay. Well, I'm sure one is coming along.
It's always coming. That's the issue.
Okay, should that work?
Yep.
It should work.
Yep. Dum chicka dum chicka dum chicka dum chicka dum chicka dum chicka dum. Now, this is the trick. So scroll down to the bottom. It's very faint, but there's a little box in the at the end of the text with the left one. That one. That button is your key to paradise.
Okay, opening.
It's very well hidden. It's very, very well hidden.
They're trying hard not to make this useful, aren't they?
I know, right? So click the button. Okay, now what this does is it applies all the changes across all the files, and then in the tabs there, you can see the new files or the changes to the files that have been made. And crucially, you can say accept all. So you should check, or since you like to just live on the edge,
I should actually listen.
you should. But well, up
the way to the end.
No, yeah, in that window, it's got the tab, so you could have checked what the changes to the individual files were. But
okay.
This composer is a new feature of theirs. I think it might even be in the beta phase still, but that is the key to doing multi-file edits.
Okay, this is really awesome. Dreamcatcher definitions. Keep all content from.
I think you fucked with the thing, right?
What? Why does it come up with that?
I know why. Well, this is because you clicked too fast and you didn't read what it said.
Right. So how do you undo?
Oh God. Well, if you hadn't clicked accept.
Well, come on. Undo is basic.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to use the Git thing to go to revert. So back into the Git view and come on, dude. It was magic intelligence. Okay, like. So just go back into Git and revert the changes.
Hold on, let me see what we got here. Dreamcatcher ecosystem and some views.
All the ones that are highlighted green in the folder view are ones that have changed from Git's point of view, and that's why I know that it's only these ones here, just by looking at your file,
No,
the
I'm quite
exploratory.
curious to see what's actually done here. So
I'm
Dreamcatcher.
telling you, it's made a mistake, because what's happened is if you read the rest of the chat, it was asking you if it would like you to go ahead, because it's basically saying there's a lot of text that I'm going to generate. Would you like me to do it? And that's what happened there. You didn't say yes, I want to do it, and that's why it just sort of didn't work.
All right. Yeah. That really
Right?
didn't work.
No. So
Okay. So
you could try and do it without backing out of Git if you wanted,
yeah.
but yeah, you probably should back out of Git.
It would be a useful skill, but I've actually got all the text.
Okay.
Anyway.
So you need to. What do you want? Which way do you want to do it? You want to back out in Git, or do you want to just gung ho it?
Let's back out on Git.
Okay, so you need to get rid of the source control graph that's hogging all your screen real estate there. No, so back into Git view, where you just were, the Git view. Yeah. Do you know an alternate way to do this, and you want me to just let you do it, or you want me to tell you?
All right. Well, I could just copy and paste from the local copy.
No. Oh god, dude, use the tools. Use the tools. Come on.
Right,
So collapse the source control graph window so you got more space. No. See what it says under source control? It says source control graph.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Now, expand source control. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, legal you want to keep. So now,
well, legal is just like
it's a throwaway thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, where it says changes, immediately under the blue commit button, see the undo arrow, the sort of the cobra-looking snake thing, changes. No, change. Yeah. Discard all changes. That's your man right there. Discard all 3 files. There you go. Okay. Now, you're back to a clean working copy, which is called pristine. So now you go back into the chat that you just were, and you say, yes, do it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So you press Command Shift L to get back. So down the bottom. No. Down the bottom is the box for your follow-up instructions.
Yeah.
Yep. And you say, you do it.
You do it.
Well, that's what it asked you, right? It said, would you like me to show you the exact content that should go into each file? Or would you prefer to handle the split yourself?
All right.
And now you'll have to scroll down to the very bottom of its generation once it's finished, because it'll probably be going a little while.
Burn tokens, burn.
Burn, baby, burn. Ding, diddle, ding, diddle, ding, 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 diddle, ding, diddle, ding. I wish it made noises like a Geiger counter, like.
You know, there's I'm quite a fan of there's these guys who render data into noise.
Yeah, I know.
The results of those can be it's another render. It's another example of a render.
My favorite thing of that I'm missing is the sound of a hard drive. So now if you click on that, yeah, and now it should work. Oh no! Wait! Read the thing. Don't click accept. Just click close out of that. I know what I said. Close out of the thing. Close that. I just noticed that it said, "Would you like me to show you the complete content?" Since it's quite long, I wanted to check first. You got to say yes.
The definition file. I see what it's done.
You know what it's doing, because it's run out of tokens, right?
Yeah.
And so what you'll have to do is you have to roll back through the text and click on that little box on each output prompt so that you build it up, because it won't. Oh, it's sort of conking out because it's run out of.
I've burned too many tokens already.
No, I don't know. I think your text was too big. But whatever. Anyway, you know the skills now. It's that little
Right.
box that you probably would never have found because it's very well hidden, and
Yeah,
that's how
no,
you that's how you apply to multiple files.
that's probably what I need because in order to do what I was doing previously, really what I wanted was to go through various uh, instantiations of LLMs and have separate threads, get them to consider, copy and paste, and then consider together. Now, the question is, I guess,
Well, you
the
can do that
question
here because
is,
what's quite good is that you can run queries in parallel. So you can have a big long generation running, start a new chat, and generate some more stuff, and it works pretty well like that.
so if I was to switch models now, it's got
Yep,
full thread, right?
yep, that's right. Yep,
So if I could go to there and saying, uh,
it will truncate your thread in some way. I'm not sure what technique they're using.
I do this quite a lot, just pistol whip it. Okay, no, I get where it's going here.
Yeah, you get where it's going, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so you can very easily have concurrent threads running, which I've done a lot. The point I wanted to make to you is that it feels like, I mean, if I can generate that definitions thing that I did today out of half a day's work, it feels like with a bit of back and forth, you and I can arrive on an agreement or a pattern that we can work together to have a shared set of definitions.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then we can be doing actual legitimate pull requests against the gold standard where we're trying to update it, and
Yeah.
then that's the source material we use to do all the renders.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to. I figured you
Um,
probably need a bit of like a day to familiarize yourself with the tooling and mess around with it.
yes, I don't look quite such a fool on our next broadcast to the world.
Don't worry about it. I mean, shit, it's all fucking new, flaky, and falling apart. I mean, you could argue
Yeah,
it
I've
took
checked it.
us too long to even
One,
get going on Cursor.
there's a couple of things that occurred to me there. One occurred to me before this call, and another one just occurred to me. Um, the one before this call is because uh, because of Git and the way we built the website and so on, it would
Yeah.
be, I think, probably trivial to not only update the website based on the latest core definitions,
Mm.
based on different views, and we can fine tune the tone. But it's like, as a
Why would you
funder,
want
you
to
do
do that though?
this. Because the next step would be you come in there with, for example, an input box and saying, "Hey, I'm a funder. Tell me about it." And then you get what looks like it's a jitter, but it's a render of HTML that they
To
see.
show the little boxes and stuff there.
Yeah,
I think that's too advanced for us now. Like we're still figuring out.
yeah, okay,
We're still figuring out how we want. We're still figuring out what the definitions are. Like how we get there and the workflow we use is almost irrelevant to the fact that we now know that we have to have this tree of knowledge.
yeah,
And if we
yeah.
don't have that and we don't labor for it, then we will not get high quality renders.
Well, can you go back to that tree of knowledge because I want to just double check our understanding of that because um, that render that you had,
Which one? I gave you several.
the diagram.
The diagram.
That's the one. Okay, so this is a workflow,
Yep.
which is one view of it. Um, the the actual object that it's working on is the. I'm just double checking here. I think I understand, but I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. The previously what we'll be calling the definitions is the gold definitions. The stories are generated by you giving narratives.
I've been sloppy with the naming there, but because I didn't have time to reconcile all the naming through it. If you want to call them narratives, we can, or if you want to call them stories, we can. I just think that the bot understands user stories more. Narratives is a less used term, and so the bot
Yeah, no, that's
naturally
fine,
wants to call it user stories.
and everyone knows about user stories. But
Yeah,
the point of a user story is I want to be able to. I was saying the other day, and I've been doing it with the cut and paste method. You got the definitions, and you say, "Here's the system," and then you say, "I am some dude in one jurisdiction, and another dude in another jurisdiction," and
yeah. So have a read of these, right? These I was impressed with these stories. Now these stories were not all generated by the bot. They were extracted from, because when you and I talk, we use quick little stories to try and illustrate a point or to ask a question about how the system works. And
Yep.
so just because of the way that we communicate, I think it's very beneficial that the bot be told to extract the stories from it. And then what I was doing with it was getting it to reconcile the stories down, so like reducing the overlapping ones, and then also coming up with a set of synthetic stories where I was like, hey, given what you heard in the transcript and all that, can you come up with some additional stories that were only kind of hinted at or missing?
Yep. Yep.
And it knows when you say use a story, it starts with as a blah, blah, blah. I want to blah, 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 so that I am blah, blah, blah. And then I got it.
That's interesting because we're talking about two different things with user stories and narratives. But this is good.
Well, this is
Great.
the entry point, and then how it actually is done is a separate thing. That's like the solution to the problem. The problem is the user story, and it needs to be rooted in the real world. And see what it's done here is I got it to actually link to, where appropriate, a very specific actor, like talent or
How did you get
platform
those links
operator.
then?
I told it because you click on it, and now it's here, platform operator. Because
Okay.
when it has the hash bangs, you can actually refer to it by putting that at the end.
Yeah.
So when I go hash platform operator, it'll take me to this link. And when I put in hash talent, it'll take me to that link.
But when it was generating it, you weren't typing that in. You were.
I told it to make those links because I was like, one of the prompts I did was I was like, see these user stories, read the actor file, and then reference, instead of user, reference a specific actor type or group of actor types within the actor file, and then provide markdown links to it.
Right. And do you have that prompting thread?
Fuck, sorry, it's on the other computer.
Does it still
I
exist
don't.
now?
It might. I'm not sure.
Okay, that'd be useful.
I'll try and see it.
But the secondary point I was making is when I'm talking about narratives, these are user stories, absolutely. But by
Yep.
narrative, I'm talking about a specific example of how it would be used. Not
Do you mean like
as a user?
so? What's an example of a narrative from your point of view then?
Adam is a dev who is signed up to Dreamcatcher, Bob is a funder. Bob likes the looks of a stuck, and Adam has the skills to solve it. Adam solves the stuck, and home in time for tea and medals.
So you're talking about a compound user story where the user stories or the user intents of multiple participants worked together to give the outcome for all of them.
Yes, because
right?
that's the key, I think, to taking in actual usage. So say if that is
just a second,
summary
please.
of
Give me a second. Give me a second.
Yep.
Give me a second. So, how you could have done that is you could have each one of those individual users could have been described as a user story because they're really only thinking about themselves. And so what you're talking about is a solution where an activity on the platform solves multiple user stories. But I suspect that in our platform, by design, those types of solutions will always only solve exactly 2 user stories at a time, never more. And so you're not talking about a user story, you're talking about the concurrent solution of a pair of user stories because we are a transactional platform. We are
pairwise. Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But really, what I'm driving at is let's call it narratives for now. Say if this narrative involves the pairwise interaction based on user stories, based on definitions, everything's coherent.
Yep.
And it takes 2 months, and there is a render that looks odd. It's like, why did Adam get so much and Bob didn't? So these are analogous to, for example, if you get multiple
Are you
users
talking
to
about?
actually use it.
Hang on. I want to just do one thing at a time here. So that first one you gave, are you indicating that you want to show the scenario of where something went wrong? And so you've got these 2 user stories of what they wanted, and they started using the platform, and then a pairwise solution was employed, and then there was some kind of unhappy path.
Not just one pairwise solution. What I want to do is to have a stream of events that happened all the way along, and then render that in a way that a human brain can say, well, hold on a second, so this happened, that happened, that happened, that happened, that happened, and that's wrong. So
I don't. I sort of get what you mean, but I don't know how to deliver that for you. Are you talking about these fairly long chains of interactions that occur, and then almost like a sequence diagram, and you want to make sure that at each step the next state was correctly calculated based on the definitions and which are used as rules, and you want to spot where these long combinations were in error?
Yeah.
Is that right?
And yeah, so the narrative is the input to a render. And the render shows, okay, so here's the output. It's like, well, that's wrong. Where did you go wrong? And a sequence diagram would be one way of doing it. You go back and going.
So you want to have a narrative being like, it's inefficient to just pick long strings of interactions. The goal needs to be to generalize them down to a small number that cover all the possible combination space, because
yeah, absolutely. You can do it synthetically, but the thing that's a real kind of home run on this one is if something happens in a business that's using a system, and someone spots weirdness at some point, is going, how do we get there?
Right, okay, yeah, but that isn't that getting too far ahead of ourselves? Like, that can only occur once we've got the system in place to use it. There's no real
No, it's
point.
doing it at the moment. I'm doing tests at the moment
Have you
where
got one you can show me?
not up on my screen at the moment, but I can see if I can generate one for you.
And you're sure that these user stories can't be it?
No, the user stories are just as a X, I want to be able to do Y, but it doesn't capture the interaction of the user stories. As a banker, I want to be able to reconcile my whatever. As a customer, I want to be able to do this. But as you get more complex, it's the render that
Can
shouts
you
out
stop
saying
using render? Like, what is? I think you've overgeneralized render. What is the render?
the render is let's run this story using the definitions and user stories and all this the
So
gold
what's the output?
the gold standard
What's the output of running that?
is modeling based on the gold.
Is it a series
Run
of
this
steps
narrative
that'd be
and
like?
here's result, and you
Okay,
go,
so
oh,
you'd
that
be like,
result doesn't seem right.
okay, so one example of how you'd run that would be that Alice is a funder, Bob is a banker. Um, Alice puts in $20. Something happens. Charlie comes along and doesn't complete the work.
Yep.
And those are the kinds of things you want. They're like a complex interaction between.
Yeah, maybe a
Right. So
scenario is a better way.
all right. So
Better word
let
for it.
me just try and tamp down what the user stories are for first. I think that the user stories would form the entry point to creating these complex interactions, and that if we can get I still think the user stories are valuable because they say what the starting positions of everyone is, and you're talking about after the starting positions. How can these complicated? You want to explore these complicated interactions, right?
Yeah, but the weird thing is, I kind of ignored user stories and went straight from definitions through narrative struct scenarios, complex
Yeah. Look,
scenarios.
I'll be honest, and I'll say that it was the bot surprised me by coming out with it in this format. I thought we were going to be dealing with what you'd just spoken about, but when the bot spat these out, I was like, these are actually simpler, and they describe the necessary starting points, and so they provide a more graceful entry into the rather hard banging interactions of stuff flying everywhere, which is
Yeah,
effectively a chess game, right? Like, so here the user stories are like, I am a pawn. I want to move either one square or two squares. It's that kind of level, which is still important, but it doesn't really. You want to talk about like openings in a chess game or different kind of plays that,
yeah, but
right?
the thing I'm trying to
Sequences of
um
moves that form a pattern or give some oddity, and you want to
yeah
make sure that all the oddities are identified so that the base definitions can be corrected so that the user stories can be satisfied in the right way, right? But
yeah, but
yeah.
I guess the question I've got is user stories are derived from the definitions, right?
No, user stories. These user stories came from our conversations talking about the scenarios of people
Oh,
using
yeah,
the system.
yeah. Good point. But if we take it, so you had two transcripts, which were the base rock. It's like those transcripts are the real thing, and so
Yep,
derive.
yep.
What I'm talking about is the definitions the base rock have been talking about, where you can render user stories absolutely, and then you can read them if you want. Oh, incoming call. Damn it. Institute. Oh, I'm gonna have to go. Um, the base rock is the one truth. You can render it as user stories and then read it, and use your brain to think, yeah, that's fine. Or you can render it as give it a scenario, and then see if there's any oddness. You could create synthetic data around that. You could render it as a
Yeah,
chart.
what's the point though? You're listing off a bunch of things that I could do, and I don't know the point.
User stories are derived. They're not fundamental. The user stories are derived from the transcript. The transcript is a thing.
Yeah, what's the point?
The point is, what you don't want to do, I think, is do a second order derivative. So the base is the thing you derive from, but what you don't want to do is to derive user stories and then derive anything from user stories to a third order, because you start to get amplification of nuance that is going to get you the wrong result. You should only derive.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean wouldn't that be a sign that the render has amplified an error somewhere, and now we need to go back and correct what the user story was?
No, because you got two steps, and you don't know where that is. Maybe the
Mate, I don't know what the point of this is. Like, what's the?
Could you? I don't know how much time you got. I need to answer that call.
Okay.
I'm getting pings.
Okay. Do you want me to wait here? I got an hour.
Yeah, cool. I'll probably need about 10 minutes, 15, something like that.
Okay, no worries. I'll stop the recording. We'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.